Welcome to my new YouTube video. In this video, I'll be talking about the things I wish I knew before I moved to the UK for my studies. And if you're planning to travel to the UK in this year or next year, then this video might just be for you. So stay tuned and watch till the end. A little introduction first. My name is Olanike Abibat Akemi, but I prefer to go by the name Olanike, and I'm currently an international student here in the UK. I moved to the UK last year, September, and I have to study for the next 1.5 years before completing my studies, my postgraduate studies here in the UK. I'm currently studying a Master's by Research program in international business, and it's a 2 years course. And yeah, I just started last year September, like I said. I made this video to document the things that came to me as a shock, or things I wish I actually knew before I moved to the UK last year. And this is to help anybody that is planning to move here this year or next year. I wouldn't say 2028, as things change a lot in the year in the UK. So let's get into it. You may find me looking down often. That's because I put down my talking point on my iPad, so it helps me to see what I want to talk about next and refresh my memory. So yeah, if you are not subscribed to my channel, I would like you to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because I'll be documenting my life here in the UK and life after the UK during school. While I'm here in the UK, I'll be documenting my journey, my experiences, my passion, my life basically as an international student here in the UK, and as somebody living in the UK, as the case may be. So make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, as I'll be dropping valuable gems and things that you may just relate to. So let's get to point number 1. I've been in the UK for 5 months now, I think, or close to 5 months. And one of the things I still regret every day is not coming in with enough clothing, warm clothing. Most of the time, when people want to travel to the UK as a student or for like a longer time stay, people advise them to come in with food, bring a lot of your traditional food, African food, wherever you're coming from, as the case may be. But I wish I had actually prioritized bringing in warm clothing. I brought quite a number of warm outfits because I was coming in during autumn. That was September, this being one of them. I got a few sweatshirts from Nigeria. I thrifted them, and I also got a winter jacket at 20,000 naira, which is like £9, and my winter jacket is quite long. I'll drop a picture of it if I have a picture of the full winter jacket. Now, if you want to get that kind of jacket, winter jacket here in the UK, from the cheapest outlet, which is like charity stores, you'll be spending nothing less than 20 to 25 pounds, which is an equivalent of about 50,000 Nigerian naira going by current rates. So definitely it was a good buy. I got another one from a charity store after I moved to the UK at 15 pounds, but it was shorter and kind of puffier. I didn't like it, so I barely go for it. I still wear the one that I came to the UK with from last year, because I'm not sure I feel the need to get another one yet, and winter is almost even over, so it works for me. Still, I was able to get some more sweatshirts at good rates compared to what they are currently sold for here in the UK. I remember getting this outfit that is under this sweatshirt. I got it for £9 at Peacocks here in the UK, and that's like 18,000 naira. No, that's over 20,000 naira. Sorry, I still find myself converting even though I've been here for a while, but I'm making this video for the sake of people that are still in Nigeria or wherever their own country is, so that they can see that it's a much better bargain to bring these things from back home than buying them here. So I got this turtleneck for £9, and after one wear, I already had a hole in the armpit. I got 2 of them. One of them already had a hole, and it's so flimsy and thin. Like, I think it's not worth it for the money. compared to if I had bought it back from Nigeria. So I think you should buy enough things, and you may even have to pay for an extra luggage. I mean, it's worth it. Or you can get somebody to buy them for you back in Nigeria and then waybill them to the UK at an affordable rate. I got somebody who was able to waybill for me at the rate of 7,200 naira per kg. So if you need their contact, you can let me know. Just drop a comment for me and I will send it to you by DM. This leads me to the second point, where people talk about packing your indigenous food to the UK as opposed to packing enough clothing. So for this, in the UK, African food is not as scarce as people make it seem, at least for me, because I live in Birmingham, and right next to my house there's a popular market where people come from different areas, even here in Birmingham, to buy African food, African and Caribbean food. So I'm able to get plantain, get different kinds of pepper, and hey, as a segue, the kind of Scotch bonnet, which we call atarodo, that they sell here in the UK is so hot. I mean, I'm somebody who loves to pack enough Scotch bonnet and chili into their food, but here in the UK I've had to tone it down because just one Scotch bonnet is enough for like 4 cups of rice, no jokes. So I'm able to get Scotch bonnet here in the UK, get all our different kinds of pepper. I'm also able to get plantain, get yam, get sweet potato. You know, it's not as bad as people make it seem. It's not as bad as people make it seem back home that you not get food here. And then there are a number of African stores around where I can actually go in, buy beef, buy tripe, buy shaki, buy offals, buy assorted, buy momo, you know, so many, bokoto, name it, whatever you used to buy back in Nigeria. Then there are different kinds of rice for you to choose from. You can buy basmati rice, you can buy short grain, you know, you have choices. So please, and also again, you can also waybill, like I said earlier, like get somebody to buy them for you in Nigeria and then you ship them here. Or use air cargo. I used air cargo for that 7-2, so you can do that. It's still worth it at the end of the day if you buy more than enough stuff that you're going to need. And most of the food items that I brought here last year, I still have them. I bought curry, I bought dry pepper, atagigun, I bought melon, ground melon seed, I bought yellow curry, I bought poundo, I bought quite a number of things. I bought dried iru, and I still have all those things. So please prioritize clothing and also other things that you think may not be so easy for you to get here in the UK. So let's go to point number 3. The third point is that it's not so easy to make money in the UK as they say. When you're back home, they'll say, oh, don't worry, once you get to the UK, you make quick money. You know, you can start working within like the first week that you get into the UK or the second week. It is not easy. See, unless you're planning to do illegal stuff, which is like working off NI, cash in hand, which I don't advise, to be honest, or you want to overwork yourself, which ultimately will lead you to doing cash in hand jobs, which is not lawful, it's not legal here in the UK. It's not so easy to make money. And minimum wage jobs are the most stressful. Like when you want to leave Nigeria or wherever you are, they'll say, oh, you quickly make money, you make, particularly if, you know, you should get what I mean. They'll tell you, you make that money. Please don't put yourself into unnecessary financial stress because it is not easy. You work so hard to complete that 20 hours grace that you've been given per week, and the amounts that you make, there are so many things that will take them from you. You know, you have to eat, and transport in the UK is so expensive, particularly if you're living a bit far away from your campus. You have to take the train or do long trip. Transport is expensive. So imagine you're making like 200 to 250 pounds in a week for those 20 hours. And I'm not even, imagine you're making that kind of money. And then you have to pay, maybe you have to pay for a weekly bus ticket. That's already like 20, 25 pounds as the case may be. Or maybe you have to take train and that's already like 30 pounds apart from bus pass. Depending on how far your area is, then you have to eat. At the very least, you're going to spend 30 pounds on feeding in a week. Then your weekly house rent, it may be as little as 100 pounds or even as high as 200 pounds in a week. So how much do you even have left? And you have to pay. If you're even so unlucky, you have to pay black tax from that particular amount. So please try as much as possible to be as financially prepared, and don't let anybody deceive you to say that once you get here you just start working. In reality, things are much more complicated than that. This also leads to the fourth point that says that you have to be as realistic as possible with yourself, particularly when it comes to the kind of work you want to do as a student here in the UK. Yes, it's good to want to do something that relates to your course of study or do something that relates to your career, but I'm going to tell you or remind you, if they've told you before, that you need to lower your expectations, particularly if you're kind of in a pinch or in a financial crisis once you get here, or if you know that you need money as much as possible once you first get to the UK. So you have to reduce your expectation. You may have to pick up a warehouse job first, because those are the easiest to get, particularly if you do your recruitment through an agency. You may have to work at a warehouse. You may have to work in a factory. You may have to work as a kitchen porter where you wash plates all day long, or you do one or another stressful kitchen task. You may have to work as a catering assistant. You may have to work as a cleaner. Like, you may have to, take up jobs that you may never imagine yourself even doing back home. So while it's nice to have a long-term plan, to have something that connects to your career, I want you to know that you may have to pick up anything. I mean, some people get lucky and things work out faster for them, or things just stick in place, and but please, regarding jobs, I'm not trying to be pessimistic here. Regarding making a living, I want you to lower your expectations. Also, getting an accommodation is hard, but I'm going to talk about getting a job first. You have to do so many paperwork to resume your first job. Like, you have to get a police report, particularly if you want to work as a teacher, as a carer, so anybody in the healthcare and support and educational field. Really, you have to get your police report. You have to get your NI number, which is like a necessary number where your taxes and those things are going to pass through. I'm still going to talk about these things in another video, like some of the documents that you may need and tips, general tips, honestly. So you are going to get an NI number, which mostly takes about 2 weeks to be issued to you, to be sent to you by post. You need a proof of address, which may be in form of bills, accounts opening letters, or bank letters that are sent to you by post, because posting even takes a number of days, about 2 to 5 days, or 2 to 10 days even, as the case may be. Then you need your passport, of course, or your ID card, which you already have. You need so many documents, I can't really think of them right now. Then you may also have to get a DBS, particularly if you are working in the educational support or healthcare sector. You need a DBS, which is like their own form of police report. Note that when I said police report initially, I mean police reports from Nigeria, which also takes some time. So you get a DBS, you get NI, you get proof of address, you get some letters from your school, which you can download off your portal. Those ones are easier. So I want you to know that it takes nothing less than 2 to 4 weeks to secure your first employment, unless, of course, again, you are doing cash in hand, which is not legal. Also, when it comes to getting a job, the kind of job, getting part-time jobs that will fit your own schedule is not easy. So, for example, when I first resumed school, I used to go to school 3 times in a week. And that was like last year, my first semester. I used to go to school 3 times in a week. And imagine you got a job that states that you have to work Monday to Thursday, 5 hours each to make 20 hours. But you have school on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. You see that it doesn't work for your schedule. And sometimes those things are fixed. Also, as an international student, you can only work for 20 hours in a week. So imagine you get jobs that will say that you have to work for 22 hours. 21 hours, 25 hours. In fact, personally, I've gotten a lot of 22 and a half hours a lot. So those kind of things, they are not compatible with your structure. And let me remind you again that you should never work for more than 20 hours as a student. If you're lucky to get a contract that affords you 20 hours, then that's perfect. And the only option you have, if you don't get that, is to work for less than 20 hours. Pick shifts that are not up to 20 hours cumulatively. If you cannot get something that's for 20 hours, or get something that works for 20 hours. So those are part of the issues that you can face getting your first job in the UK. Another thing is that the jobs that may be available, you may not like them. It's not everybody that can work in the healthcare field as an healthcare assistant or carer. It's not everybody, and it's not everybody that can work in a factory that have the strength to like work for hours on end. Personally, my first 2 times of working in the UK, I worked nights at a factory, and it was not easy for me, so I had to stop doing it before I found another factory job, another mail sorting job that was way easier than the first one. So I want you to know that these are part of the issues that you can encounter when you are trying to get your first job in the UK. So number 1 is compatibility with your timetable, because you are here in the UK to study. You're not here to work. I want you to have that at the back of your mind. The UKVI, the UK government, sees you as somebody who is here to work. Working here as an international student is a privilege, not a right. So number 1 thing is that it has to be compatible with your timetable, your school timetable and your school schedule. Number 2 is that you need to spend some time to get together your documents and all the checks that you have to do. The third thing is that you need to get a job that you can actually do personally, something that you are not weak to do. You don't want to land in a hospital because you're trying to work to make ends meet in the UK. So you need to get that. Then what else? Another thing is UK experience. Many a times when you want to get jobs here in the UK, they ask you if you have UK experience. And this is very common to agencies, particularly healthcare and education industry agencies. They need you to have UK experience to be sure that you are actually capable of doing the job that they want to give to you, or the shifts that they want to give to you. Then they will also ask for references. So even if your employer is in Nigeria, peradventure, your job allows you to come with experience from your own country, in this case Nigeria. They would need your former employers, at least 2 recent employers to send them references online, and the references have to come from official emails. They don't accept at gmail.com. Don't accept emails from at yahoo.com or at hotmail. It has to be at the company name. So let's say the company name is Love. So it has to be it has to be Olanike something at love.edu.com or at love.ng, whatever the suffix is. But know that they're not going to accept any references from Gmail, Hotmail, all these email addresses. Even when you get the job, the recruitment process is not always so easy, because you also have to do the reference check, send reference requests to your employers here in the UK. But in this case, where you are coming from in Nigeria, send them requests, receive the references back from them before they can proceed. Then they will also do their own background check. Sometimes they may even demand to do their DBS for you. They don't want the one that you did from another agency when you're trying to apply to another job. So all of that can take as long as 1 month. So that's to say that getting a job here is not as easy. So you need to come as financially prepared as possible. If you have to take a loan, if you have to actually have saved up that amount of money that you need to get started here in the UK. So that's something to remember. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is apartments. Getting an apartment is hard, and as a student you have 2 options. The first option and the easiest option is to get a house share. That means you're sharing with other people within a flat. Maybe a landlord wants to rent out a room in his apartment, or maybe you and a few other friends are coming together to rent an apartment, or you and a few other people, or somebody already got an apartment and they are looking for people to share their apartment with. That's a house share, and most of the time they are not expensive. They may cost from about £300 to £500, £600. So that's the first option that you have. Then the second option is to get something for yourself. Let's say you're here with your family, you're here with your partner or with your children. You have to get like 2-bedroom flat at the very least if you have children, because each child must have their own room. Then if you're with your partner, you can get a studio, you can get a house share that allows you to share with to share with your partner, which is also another problem, because most of the time house shares don't allow you to share a room with your partner. They want just a single person. So that's also another area where there might be issues with getting an apartment. And as a new student, you don't have enough money to splurge on getting an apartment. So those are your two options. One of the reasons why getting an apartment may be difficult, particularly if you want to get like a studio or a full-fledged apartment for you and your family, is because they also want to do credit check. They want to see if you have a good credit score, which means that landlords are trying to vet if you can actually afford to pay the rent month on month. They also want to see that you're earning enough to cover it, which is the same as, like, not really the same, but it's similar to a credit check. So they want to get your pay slips for like the past 6 months. They want to make sure that you've been living in the UK for a while. They want to make sure that your credit score is good. So yeah, that's two of the things. Then even the process of getting, calling a letting agency, going for viewings, because it is essential. You must go for a viewing, which is like inspection that we do in Nigeria. Viewings here are free, but you have to book it. So you go for your viewing, then you decide whether or not you want the apartments. Then you pick up a form where you put all the details that they need. Then they will do a credit check on you. They'll do a credit check, they'll get your pay slip and all those things. Then the landlord will now decide whether or not they want to give you the apartment, which in some cases, this racism can apply. Some landlords can see your name and see that, oh, this person is not British, and then they just cook up online, tell you that somebody has taken it or they're no longer letting it. It has happened to me personally. So racism sometimes, due to your name and your details, can also apply. So those are some of the issues that you can have. Letting process is not even that fast. It could take from 2 weeks to 4 weeks for an apartment to be yours. So that's also another thing that you should know. Then the viewing stress, again, you have to view. It takes time and energy, particularly if you're in a hurry to get a place. Also, the quality of housing, that can also be an issue. You can do 10 viewings and not like any of them, particularly if you're looking for like a house share opportunity, or you want to get an apartment. Here in the UK is the only place where personally I'll see 5 bedrooms and 2 toilets, 3 bedroom and 1 toilet. Like, the situation is so dire. Like, the number of toilets here in the UK is abysmal to the number of rooms. So those are other things that can happen when you're trying to look for a house, that can make getting an apartment difficult for you. Then things like the EPC rating, how cold your apartment gets, apartment insulation that helps with your electricity bills at the end of the day. So another thing is also getting a place that is bill inclusive, so you can, as a new student, look for somewhere that the bills are included in your rent. There are just so many things. Then another thing is deposits. You're not just paying your rent, you're paying deposits, which most of the time people don't even get at the end of the day. So all these things are issues that I may decide to talk about in another video, but I just want you to know, because I feel like I've talked a lot about this accommodation situation. I just wanted to know that getting an accommodation here is not as easy as you might think, unless you're lucky, or if you're coming alone without family and you can afford to quickly get a room for house share. And even moving too many times is going to affect your credit score. But again, I digress. Last thing I'm going to talk about is the bills, particularly as a student. So personally, I don't live in a place that is bills inclusive. I live with my husband, and I live in a sort of room and parlor studio apartment situation. So which means that we have to pay electricity, we have to pay water. Yeah, those are the 2 bills we pay. We're supposed to pay council tax, but as a student, they give us, as a student household, we have an exception, so we don't pay council tax. So imagine we have to pay about £170 per month compared to what we already pay. So as a student, this amounts to a lot of money. So imagine you have to pay, imagine again, like I said the other time, you're earning £200 and your bills in a week, let's break it down to a week, amounts to like £80. What is left for you to survive on? You need to think about it very well if you really want to come to the UK, and also prepare adequately for these things that I have talked about in this video. I hope this video is very helpful for you. The next video I'll upload will be about 10 things that you should know if you are planning to move to the UK, like 10 tips. These are more like things that I didn't know that I think are good to know, but for the next video they're going to just be basic things that will help you to be better prepared, or will help you to know whether or not you're really moving to the UK, or you really want to study here in the UK. So I hope you like this video and subscribe to this video and put on the notification bell so that when that next video comes, you're not going to miss it. Thank you for staying with me through this video, and if you have comments or any questions, you can drop them in the comment box below, and I'll be very happy to respond to them or make videos that actually address them. So have a nice day and week ahead, as the case may be. Bye guys.